Good morning, honorable adjudicators, member of opposing teams, and audience. It's a profound honor for me as the second speaker of the affirmative side to address this gathering on the topic of plastic bags should be banned, ladies and Germans. So, ladies and Germans, the negative team said that it's all about proper management and proper disposal of the plastic bag itself. But they tend to ignore the fact that proper management of plastic waste obviously require the modern technology and great amount of money to take place. First of all, ladies and Germans, the high technology which is used to keep the plastic waste is only available, to our developed countries, civilized country, and those countries are able to afford this high technology, all right, to maintain the plastic bags. Meanwhile, the developing country or poor country who consume much greater amounts of plastic bags, may not be able to afford this high technology and freaking expensive technology. Thus, the problem will still exist, ladies and Germans. Second of all, ladies and Germans, it needs certain chemical substance to store the plastic waste. Ironically, what is the point of using chemical substance to store the chemical substance? It's not make sense, ladies and Germans. So, in one way or another, the chemical substance used to store the plastic waste is as harmful, as the plastic waste itself. So why do we need it? The management of plastic waste in this situation is not applicable at all, ladies and Germans. And in overall, the proper management and the proper disposal of plastic bag you mentioned is far unachievable, ladies and Germans. Moving on to the use of plastic bag unavoidable. And they even question us, what is the alternative of the plastic bag if it's to be banned, ladies and Germans? Our first speaker has already confined the use of plastic bag already, ladies and Germans. Yet we would like to, give you the alternative if you want us to. According to UNEP, the United Nations Environment Program, the alternative are: number one, you should buy food in glass or metal containers or paper container if possible. Number two, ladies and Germans, avoid heating food in plastic container or store foods in plastic container or plastic wrap. Number three, use natural fiber clothing, bedding, and furniture. And number four, ladies and Germans, which is our proposed alternative of the day, is to avoid using plastic bag for the daily uses such as shopping or storing things, etc., ladies and Germans. So here are to our last arguments of the day. It's about the impact of plastic waste on human health, ladies and Germans. According to the research of Mr. Rob Halden, the Associate Professor of the School of Sustainable Engineering at Arizona State University, the chemical additive in plastics have been linked to problems associated with human health, ladies and Germans. The plastic is breaking down into smaller and smaller pieces and entering the food chain and releasing chemical into the fish that eat them. So when people eat fish, ladies and Germans, they will be affected to a greater extent. Moreover, people are not only exposed to chemical only during eating, manufacturing or something, but also by using plastic packages, because some chemicals, are releasing from the plastic package to the food they contain only. And based on the research again, ladies and gentlemen, the pollutants in plastic are directly linked to numerous detrimental health conditions, such as cancer, diabetes, altered immune systems, developmental in children like lower IQ, lower reading age, lower social skills, and else. And based on the statistics is that, according to National Center for Child Death Review Policy and Practice in Michigan State Public Health Institute in the 2000s, 1,580 suffocation happened to kids, and plastic bags is a part of that when the kids take a plastic bag to cover their face, ladies and Germans. Therefore, we have to take banning of plastic bag into serious consideration, and last but not least, we still stick to the motion that plastic bags should be banned, ladies and Germans. Thank you very much.
Attend the plastic bag, and which some countries cannot adopt those technologies. And also he raised his argument that the use of plastic bag can damage marine life, and it also can provide some disease to humans. So now next I would like to invite the second speaker of the negative team, Mr. Sambath, to deliver a talk today.
So So first of all, allow me to express my welcome remarks. Good morning to the distinguished guests, brother and sister, my field viewers, and ladies and gentlemen. And thanks for your priceless participation in today's event. And thanks for the second speakers of the government side for your constructive speech as well. But I am not impressed at all. And I would like to take this opportunity to directly respond to all of the arguments made by you. Okay? The second, the first, the government teams. The first, before moving to the other, we are still firmly fixed to understand that we are not in any advocacy to the abolishment or the banning of plastic bag. And we believe that plastic bag must not and should not and will not be banned because of two main arguments, which is the first one raised by the first leaders, which is the humanists, and the second one will be elaborated by me further before moving to the second argument. I would like to respond to the argument made by the second speakers from the government team. He had raised that the crowd waste management can only be applied to those developed countries because crowd waste management requires a lot of sophisticated technology in order to maintain a proper waste management. But ladies and gentlemen, proper waste management here refers to the proper human activities, ranges from a small act. For example, you across the road, you pick up one of the waste and put in the rubbish bin that is reserved to be only for the bin that keep those plastic bags. This is also the human act or proper waste management that is issued and enacted by the government in order to ensure that all of the waste management is put in one place and can be put in one landfill site that can be recycled or can be, will not affect the sea or will not affect the air and stuff. The example raised by the first speaker. So I believe that the proper waste management here can be issued without financial support or sophistications of high technology, but it can be studied from the small act. This is what my team has been speaking about, ladies and gentlemen. And another thing is about human behavior. Human behavior at all does not require money or things, but it can be done everywhere. So in order to ensure that the waste itself they have raised about the problem that results from waste management, from plastic bag. So it can be actually solved throughout the efficient consumption of plastic bag. One, second, proper management. Two, and the third, enforceable law enforcement issued by the government. So with this great policy and with this three steps, we can actually come up with the problem of plastic bag, if to some extent, but we can actually gain the benefit from using the plastic itself. So this is simply the response. So I would like to ask the opposing team as well, government team as well, if they would like to ban the plastic bag. So what are the alternatives? But they actually answer already. Those are the alternatives that can be used. So they would like to respond like a paper bag. But the paper bag itself, that is elaborated by the first speaker of my team already, that also generated a greater risk to the environment, such as global warming and stuff. So either plastic bag and paper bag generate greater risk to the environment. So if you ban plastic bag, you should also ban another, for example, paper bag and stuff. That is not I say that the plastic bag itself will actually be consumed in a larger amount. So if we actually, when the enforceable law enforcement is put into practice, the citizen itself will realize the importance of that and actually know and reduce the amount of consumption. So I believe. Okay, so that's the focus. Thank you so much.